Hi, I'm Governor Brad Little. I'm pleased to welcome you to this celebration of our outstanding leaders in philanthropy and service here in Idaho. Our entire Idaho way of life is made possible by the countless volunteers who give their time and talent in nonprofits, neighborhoods, schools, churches, and other organizations in communities across Idaho every day. I'm so proud that Idaho ranks 10th nationally for the number of our residents who volunteer. We get the opportunity today to honor some of these people in a big way. Like most philanthropists, the attention probably makes our award recipients uneasy. But it's so important for all of us to celebrate those of you receiving awards because you inspire others to serve. Whether you donate your time or money, thank you for your dedication to our community. All of your contributions have a common theme: to make the world around you a better place for Idahoans from all walks of life. Your contributions are rooted in love and service to others. And what greater purpose do we have in life than that? Service to others is the most rewarding way to spend your life. Thank you again for all you have done and continue to do to strengthen our state and Idaho families. Hi, I'm Governor Brad Little.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Governor Little, and welcome everyone online for joining us today. I'm Doug Petcash from KTVB News Channel 7 here in the Treasure Valley. And for those of you in Eastern Idaho, I was also an anchor at KPVI Channel 6 back in the late 90s. I'm excited to be here to present this year's awards ceremony and to help celebrate these just amazing honorees. If you don't already know, this event is a statewide celebration to recognize the philanthropic and volunteer work of nonprofit organizations, foundations, businesses, and individuals nominated by their peers. These awards encompass the spirit of philanthropy, including time, talent, treasure, and involvement in the community. To get us started, I'll go over the schedule for today's event. There will be 6 award categories, and for each one, a brief video will be played showcasing the individual winners. We'll share the first 3 categories, then listen to a keynote address from Karma Metzler-Fitzgerald, and then our final 3 award categories will be presented. To end our show, we'll announce the Governor Cecil D. Andrus Volunteer of the Year Award, so be sure to stick around until the very end for that special moment. And last year, we loved how chatty everyone was in the comments. So let's keep that up for 2022, and maybe your comment will be featured on screen. Now, I ask folks to introduce themselves in the comment section and share where they are watching from. Also, we encourage you to take photos during the event and post them on social media. And please tag the Idaho Nonprofit Center with @Idaho Nonprofits. We'll get things started shortly, but first would like to recognize our sponsors and partners without whom this wouldn't be possible. So thank you to all who support this program and the charitable sector. A special shout out to our silver sponsor, ICCU, Idaho Central Credit Union, and our partners, Idaho First Interstate Bank and Serve Idaho. Now let's begin with our first award. This entire category is sponsored by the wonderful Wells Fargo. They had this to say about Idaho Philanthropy Day. Quote, "We are proud to support this event. It's a great way for all of Idaho to come together and celebrate. We understand the past couple of years have been especially challenging for nonprofits, and we want to say thank you for all the hard work organizations have done day in and day out in support of our local communities." So thank you again to Wells Fargo. No matter their size, these 3 nonprofits have grown to be innovative leaders, vocal in their field, collaborators, and an example for others. Here are the winners of Outstanding Nonprofit.
Nimipu Fund, they've been doing a lot of work and they focus a lot on training and technical assistance and providing learning opportunities for youth and community members in order to get them better to manage their finances and financial responsibilities. One of the trainings that they have is called Indianpreneurship. So, it's like coming from entrepreneurship.
My name is Janelle Yearow. I'm the Executive Director of Nimipu Community Development Fund, or Nimipu Fund. I also want to state my Nimipu name, which is my Nez Perce name. So Inamwinigwast, it's Yayapalu, which means from the coyote. I'm also a Nez Perce tribal member, enrolled in the Nez Perce tribe. Being a certified Native community development financial institution, we provide credit, technical support, and business counseling and financial products to rural and Native communities who are oftentimes overlooked. And so being that we are focused here on the Nez Perce Indian Reservation, our services expand statewide, but also include areas of Oregon and Washington. We're multifaceted, right? Our organization partners with other nonprofits. We partner with the Nez Perce tribe, individuals, small business owners, but then also, we have to do some of the legwork with policy leaders so that they understand. So, why isn't there lending in Native communities? And so what we do is provide that service, but it's also serving as a bridge so that everyone thrives, including the rural communities. So it's all about those partnerships for us, and as we grow and develop, we're here for that.
Family Services Alliance is a community organization. I'm super proud of the fact that we're having our 100-year anniversary this year. And I love that we started as a volunteer organization driven by the community, people saying, what can we do to keep our neighbors, our friends, our family members safe? And now we have evidence-based counseling services. We have crisis intervention services. We're able to partner with community folks like healthcare providers, like law enforcement folks, to make sure that people that are experiencing abuse are safe, independent, free from violence, they're healing from their trauma. And we can really only do that with community members. I will say that it is an absolute honor to work with survivors on a daily basis. And the people that are connected to Family Services Alliance stay connected throughout time. And so sometimes people are coming in that have just experienced violence that very day. And sometimes people are coming in after a lifetime of abuse and violence, and they're in a place of hope and healing now. One thing that I really appreciate about Family Services Alliance is that we are an organization of hope. Sometimes people think, gosh, it's got to be hard to work for a nonviolent or for a domestic violence center. That's absolutely not true. We are about hope and healing and thriving and living.
Transitioning out of the military is difficult, especially if you've been in there a long time. Whether it's been a short term or long term, it's still difficult because the civilian world does not operate the same as the military. We've been in the community for 11 years now, and this is the first time that we've been recognized. Coming out of COVID in 2021 and all that, we saw our enrollment increase. I mean, we doubled it. So we went from about 40 veterans last year at this time to now we're serving 62. Our veterans are with us for on average 3.5 years as they're transitioning, because it's not a one weekend seminar where you can learn all this stuff. This is we're with you. We get to know your families and your children, and we help you, navigate the barriers that might be out there. But we're at 62 warriors. Well, our services, our program costs nothing to our veterans, but it does have a high program cost for us to ensure that nothing ever costs them. Well, we really need to increase our awareness because we have a good problem. We have a waiting list now, which we've never had. So we have veterans who are wanting to get into our program, and we just financially, as well as we're doing, it's like, man, we could do so much more. So I think it's important that the community know that their support has gotten us to this part, and a little bit more, we could help a little bit more. We're very proud of our veterans. A lot of that is a testament to them and their willingness to really thrive and take in the information that comes to them and the support that they're given, and we love it.
And congratulations to all three of these award recipients tonight. Now we're going to go live to Lapway with Jonelle Yearout, Executive Director of the Nimi Poo Fund. Jonelle, welcome and congratulations.
Thanks, Sam. I'd like to thank Idaho Nonprofit Center and the sponsor Wells Fargo for this award. Being a native CDFI, which is a nonprofit organization incorporated by the Nez Perce tribe, so 2013, so this is our 10th year. I mean, we're coming up onto our 10th year. So this is very exciting for us, growing from, just a vision to help support entrepreneurs and financial capabilities for our community members. From a staff of 1 to now a staff of 3 very dedicated individuals and volunteers that do all the work and work long, hard hours. But also deploying over $1.3 million to our community for personal and business loans. So we're a growing organization, and this award really speaks to our vision of a better financial life by advancing individual self-determination and self-sufficiency for every community member. So thank you.
And Jonah, I just want to ask you, what is it that you love about your region, your community, and making a difference?
Yeah, so as a Nimipu Ayet or a Nez Perce woman, we have a long history here on this land as far as the people of place. And the whole history of Native CDFIs are to serve for unbanked, underbanked, without going into the whole history of everything. But, we do the work as far as providing financial opportunity and building our native economies, looking at our traditional homelands that are just not place-based in Idaho, but include Oregon and Washington. We promote economic growth while embracing our own cultural values and traditions. And so as we grow, we don't only serve tribal members, but we serve rural communities and all members that are within our market. So it means a lot that, we are making impacts for future generations.
Well, congratulations on your growth and all you've been able to accomplish. And thank you for what you do in your community, and keep up the good work. Congratulations.
Katsiaya.
And thanks again to our friends at Wells Fargo for sponsoring Idaho Philanthropy Day and for supporting nonprofits every other day of the year. Now on to our next award. These 3 companies and foundations bring philanthropic work to the core of their mission. They demonstrate commitment to the profession, knowledge of the industry, and leadership capabilities in their communities. The Southwest Idaho Award is sponsored by Auction Frogs. Auction Frogs is a fundraising software that caters to nonprofit events. Their multifaceted team has decades of combined experience in galas, golf tournaments, online auctions, strategic consulting, you name it. They are passionate about what they do, and they want to help you succeed in all your fundraising endeavors. Here are the winners of Outstanding Philanthropic Company or Foundation.
P1FCU's employees are dedicated, honorable, and put their money where their mouth is. They are dedicated to come and do whatever is needed. They know that working in a community and making it a better place starts with them. I just can't get over how much they've actually helped the Idaho Food Bank, and I know that there's so many different nonprofits that they each are involved with. Either they're a board member, or they are a volunteer, or they're attending events and trying to make that difference. That's the culture of P1FCU, is they want to be part of the community and make it better.
We serve many communities in Idaho, and we have many branches in Idaho. So throughout our branch network, we try to serve those communities best we can, the needs that come up in those communities, whether it's food banks, schools, individual events, community events. So we've been pretty good at helping where people need help and being there with our staff, with funds, and anything we can do to enhance a community for the citizens. We encourage our employees to volunteer as much as they can. We get involved in many, many activities. We have volunteer days for our staff where they go out to communities with various organizations and help those communities. And that's part of our creed, and that's part of our credo.
As a member of P1FCU, I just really love to see that they're out doing time, treasure, and giving back. It's just amazing because I know that it makes me feel good where I bank. Their culture is just really about making sure they're making a difference.
When you have an opportunity to help, you should. Because if we all come together as groups, individuals, companies, organizations, and we provide a helping hand, that's what makes us a great society. We just all need to do what we can to help whenever we can, wherever we can, and give a little bit. Giving a little bit doesn't hurt. Just give a little bit and make everything a little bit better.
So the mission of the Community Foundation of Teton Valley is to elevate lives through the power of generosity. And so we work very closely with our nonprofits to elevate not only their stories and what they contribute to our community, but to connect them with our philanthropic community, our members in Teton Valley, those people that understand the value and the vital role that nonprofits play. And so we really do see our organization as a bridge between the nonprofits and the community that is here to support them, whether financially or through volunteerism or bringing skills to their nonprofits by serving on boards. We like to say everything's about the nonprofits, and that's really how we approach it. We look at them, and when we're moving forward with either new programming offers, how we can better serve them through workshops or through our granting process, it's all about elevating those nonprofits. And so we base everything on how can we make the nonprofits better in our community and how can we support them in our community. We are celebrating our 15th anniversary here in the community. And one of our greatest fundraising opportunities, programs that we have is called the Tin Cup Challenge. And this year we had our best year ever in 15 years. We're lucky that our community continues to recognize the value of the services that nonprofits provide. And we're just really, really happy that we can continue to be that philanthropic bridge for our nonprofits. We work with them, very closely with them, and to get the community to understand what they do and get them more support for what they need to be able to serve their mission in the community.
The health and the happiness of the places that we call home matter a lot to us at First Interstate. We're really proud to be part of the communities that we serve in southwestern Idaho. And we see the impact of our philanthropic efforts on our neighbors and those that are most vulnerable in our population. We just hosted our 5th annual Volunteer Day. That's where we closed all of the branches and locations across our 14 states. And every team member volunteers on a project in their communities all afternoon. Here in Southwest Idaho, our teams volunteered at places like Bogus Basin, the Neighbor Works Boise, the Good Samaritan Home. We had 145 team members serve almost 540 hours at 18 different nonprofits projects. You'll notice my background is Believe in Local. We provided 40 nonprofit organizations a grant of $25,000. Here at First Interstate, giving back to our communities is a huge part of what drives us. And I've seen so many people give back in Southwest Idaho. And one of the best examples is Nancy Chules. She goes above and beyond to make sure that every staff member across the Southwest Idaho region has volunteer opportunities that inspire passion. As a community bank, it's our mission to help people and their money work better together. Our bankers are your neighbors, your friends. We shop at the same grocery store as you do. Our kids play soccer with your kids. We live next door. So really, it's not a surprise that our team members in all roles here at First Interstate Bank care about making a difference in our community. They care about making the Treasure Valley a better place to live for everyone. And we spend a lot of time focusing on those who need our help and support the most.
And congratulations to these 3 honorees as well. Now we go live to Victor and Tim Adams with our Eastern Idaho honoree, the Community Foundation of Teton Valley. Congratulations, Tim. And what does this award mean to your organization?
Thank you so much, Doug. We are so honored to receive this award. I mean, we are in our 15th year, and this really solidifies and is a confirmation of the value of the work that we've brought to our community. We're a small rural community in Eastern Idaho of roughly 11 to 12,000 people. And this just means a ton to us. We were able to raise, in partnership with our nonprofits, $2.5 million in our community this year that goes right back to nonprofits. And just to be honored by this award is just huge.
And why do you think that celebrating philanthropy and volunteering is so important?
These are our unsung heroes, right? These are the people that are supporting our communities by doing services that wouldn't ordinarily be available. You know, these volunteers are out there working in animal shelters and helping the food banks, and they're out there and contributing to our community in ways that if the nonprofits weren't there and they weren't supported by those volunteers, we wouldn't be able to. So elevating them only ensures that our nonprofits continue to get their stories told and get the honor and the due respect they need. So, you know, honoring these volunteers and philanthropists, again, the unsung heroes in our communities, is really important.
And congratulations again on raising that $2.5 million and for all you do in your community. Tim Adams in Eastern Idaho. Congratulations to you and all the honorees in this category.
Thank you, Doug.
Now for our third award. These three individuals stand out amongst their peers because of their exceptional leadership and dedication to their volunteers. Sponsored by the Southwest Idaho Directors of Volunteer Services, here are the winners of Outstanding Volunteer Manager.
Cindy came out of a corporate background and she retired early and now gives her time and effort to a nonprofit. She is an amazing person who has a kind heart and an amazing feel for people and what they need to be successful. And I think as a volunteer manager, she really shows that.
She is always available. She was on vacation for an extended time, and there wasn't a day that I couldn't text her and get a text back or even a phone call back from her while she was on, quote, vacation. She's very detailed. She looks at all the facts. She's organized, has everything at her fingertips. She's dependable. She follows through. She's resourceful and suggests all the options that are possible. And for this position, and for me, most importantly, she is extremely compassionate.
She has a way of listening to the volunteers and really hearing what their concerns are and addressing them in a way that dignifies their concerns and gives them what they need.
So Cindy is one of the first contacts that people, when they refer a care recipient to CDA, Cindy is one of the first people that they talk to. And the more people that are interacting with people like Cindy, the more empathy hopefully is getting built in our community and a greater understanding about the people that, particularly that our organization serves.
I'm treating others the way I want to be treated, and I truly respect the people that are taking their time and volunteering and helping us do what we do. If we didn't have them, there's no way we would be able to accomplish what we do without our volunteers.
I am a firm believer in our mission at the Idaho Food Bank and making sure that we do what we can for a hunger-free Idaho. That's super important to me. But my personality bounces off other people. And so I get to work with these literally thousands of people every single day. And they also believe in our mission. And we have a fun time doing it. They make my life so much better. I can work a 12-hour day and go home at the end of the night not feeling like it was crappy. Like, hey, we did so much. We got so much done for our community. And it's just because I get to work with these incredible people from all walks of life. We all just are there for the same goal, to have a good time, but make sure that our community doesn't go without.
She can really bring anybody into this building or outside of this building and just make them feel like this is where they belong and what they are doing is making an impact on somebody else's life. She just is that overly caring, I want to be there for you. I want to be whatever support you need. And we're going to enjoy life together no matter what we're doing. We could be going through really bad potatoes. We're going to enjoy this and have a good time doing it. And she just does that so effortlessly.
From my understanding, Shayla has really built the volunteer program at the Idaho Food Bank in the Pocatello location. She does small things every single day to help her community. And she does them with sincerity and with no desire for a pat on the back or anything like that. It's all out of a place of sincerity. And I want to be like her one day.
Jolene has such a unique perspective as a volunteer manager because she herself was a guardian ad litem for several years before being hired onto the CASA staff 3.5 years ago. When a volunteer guardian ad litem is struggling with making recommendations to the court, when they're unsure of how to proceed in their independent investigation, to provide the judge with information about a child in a child protection case, Jolene has this wonderful and unique ability to draw on her personal experience from when she was a guardian and can honestly and ethically say, I really understand how you feel.
The work that Jolene does every day changes people's lives in one way or another.
We were at dinner one night and she looks up, she's like, I just got a text from a volunteer. And she took the time to respond then. Even though it was after hours, it was an emergency. She knew that giving that guardian a 2-minute response out of her day would bring that guardian like comfort rather than them sitting there and being anxious about what the response might be.
Anybody is capable of rising above the circumstances that they were born into. We all have this amazing warrior strength that we can tap into. And I think that the work that we do in working with the children and youth that sometimes feel that they don't have a voice, the legacy that I want to leave behind is that you actually do have a voice, and don't let your generational narrative and what you were born into define what you're capable of. We're all in this together. It truly takes a village. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, if it weren't for any one of us in all of these capacities having a voice and stepping up, truly there would be no change.
And now we're going to go live in Boise with honoree Jolene Brooks. Jolene, congratulations. What does this award mean to you?
Thank you. Thank you so much. First, I'd like to thank Sweet Ups for sponsoring this. This is an honor and a privilege, truly. Hearing everybody talk just made my heart just, yeah, sorry about that. It is an honor and a privilege to be able to work for this organization, to work for children and youth in need. It is an honor to work beside our volunteers as they advocate for the best interests of children placed in foster care. Truly and utterly, it is an honor and a privilege to be able to just do what I do on a day-to-day basis and work with our volunteers. We wouldn't be able to do what it is that we do if it weren't for them and the hard work that they do. So honestly, this is just a testament of their lifeblood, what it is that they do on a day-to-day basis. We couldn't do it without them.
And let's talk about that just a little bit. What is it that keeps you going day in and day out, and what can be a difficult job?
It's the little things. Truly and utterly, it's the little things. When you hear about a child smiling for the first time, or being able to get up every single day and just find joy in just being that kid. When you hear that a parent has successfully completed their case plan and are these warrior parents that are able to provide for their children, truly it's the little things day in and day out that make this job truly worth it.
Well, keep doing those little things and making a huge difference in the community. Jolene, congratulations to you and the other 2 honorees in this category. Have a great rest of your night.
You too. Thank you so much.
At this time, I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker. As last year's recipient of the Governor Cecil D. Andrus Volunteer of the Year Award, Karma Metzler-Fitzgerald will speak on the importance of service and the important role individuals play within Idaho.
Thank you so much for the honor to be here. You know, my mother struggled valiantly in life just to simply survive. And yet she found it in her civic soul to serve. She often found herself depressed or unemployed or just simply frustrated with the life she was living. But remarkably, through all those challenging times, she gave of herself as a generous volunteer. Sometimes for Idaho Public Television or the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, a lot of times for St. Luke's. It was at St. Luke's, actually, that she discovered the world's best bran muffin recipe. And, you know, many of us have struggled when lectured about the need and benefits of bran, but those muffins, They were not only palatable, they were delicious. And to me, that's kind of the extraordinary power of people who do the smallest, simplest of things, but they go unnoticed. And that's what enriches the lives of so many. I knew growing up, the fog of depression was going to fall upon my mom every so often. And I would watch my mother, and if it didn't take too long before the darkness of her despair would lift, it was always because she returned to her spirit of service. And I learned that sometimes by serving others, we can save ourselves. You know, we just finished up midterm elections, and it's that time when we as Americans choose the leaders who will take our communities, our state, and our nation forward. Let me read you a quote. Volunteering is the ultimate exercise in democracy. You vote in elections once a year, but when you volunteer, you vote every day about the community you want to live in. And those of us who work in nonprofits know we can influence our communities far more often than once a year. Across our beautiful state, nonprofit organizations, corporate partners, and volunteers are demonstrating that despite what the media might be saying, our communities are filled with kindness, compassion, resilience, and understanding. And that is because the work we do is essential to the strength and sustainability of our communities. I work in the nonprofit sector because I can make a difference. I've been given such a great life and a great community in which to live and work and raise my family. So I see it as an obligation and a duty to give back, to say thank you for all the opportunities I have had and will have. As I was preparing for this speech, I thought back to the people and the places that made the biggest impact on me growing up in Idaho. My first thought was of the Buell Public Library, where each week I found a new adventure to pursue and a new dream to dream. And it was at the Buell Public Library where I found a book about a young reporter who got a job as a stringer for his hometown newspaper. I was fascinated, and it inspired me to do the same. And journalism became my career. And I still string or freelance, although not for a local newspaper, but for a publication I couldn't have imagined in my 1970s childhood. I'm a reporter for a digital magazine, and it's only seen online. That library changed my world. Later, after moving to Boise, I met a woman who was brought to my junior high by local arts funding. She was a storyteller, and I was enthralled by her work. We connected, and she invited me to go on tour with her. But my parents, believe it or not, said no to allowing me to quit 8th grade and travel around the world with a woman they did not know. But I will never forget how that storyteller made me feel, and I am eternally thankful for the arts funding that made it happen. I started volunteering that same year as a candy striper for St. Alphonsus right here in Boise. I made lifelong friends, and I learned the value of compassion and hard work. At the time, I volunteered with a woman named Agnes, who made stocking caps for every newborn baby. More than 40 years later, as I was sharing this experience with a good friend, I found out Agnes was her grandmother. Volunteering builds lasting connections. Now, as an adult, I have watched the difference philanthropies make in my community and in the lives of the people I love and care for. A friend of mine in Twin Falls found herself single and homeless with 2 young children when her husband left. It was a nonprofit service agency that took her in, gave her shelter, and another that made sure her children were safe and cared for while she found work. Another friend was able to find a professional wardrobe at a nonprofit store. She was out of work, she needed to look confident on a very small budget, and that store made it possible. And a friend of mine, a rodeo mom, she told me she loves the organizations she works with because they not only support kids, but they support the sport that she loves. And she, like all the other friends I've mentioned, now give their time back to nonprofits because a nonprofit helped them when they need it the most. The work we do has a ripple effect that continues to touch lives long after we've moved on. And in our darkest hours, it is the nonprofits that step in. The disaster relief services, the homes where families can go if their children are in the hospital. Nonprofits feed the hungry, they shelter the homeless, they reform the wayward. According to the National Council of Nonprofits, America's 1.3 million charitable nonprofits feed, heal, shelter, educate, inspire, enlighten, and nurture people of every age, gender, race, and socioeconomic status, from coast to coast, border to border, and beyond. They foster civic engagement and leadership and drive economic growth, and they strengthen the fabric of our communities every single day. Nonprofits fill in the gap, and they, along with good corporate citizens, the volunteers that support them, are quite literally the mortar between the bricks we use to build our communities. But listen, I don't think it's any secret to anyone hearing this that we're struggling. And perhaps the biggest challenge we face right now is remembering we are not alone. I, like many of you, has faced the reality of not having enough volunteers to do the job, or worse yet, dealing with people who say they're going to be there and they don't show up. And as an NPO leader, I, like you, have had those moments where it feels like no one understands the importance of what we're doing, and that there is no job, whether it's organizing an event or stuffing envelopes, that is not important to doing our work. We are a nation of exhausted people because in many cases we are doing work as individuals that really we should be doing in community. And we are working those long hours, and when we do, it is really hard to remember we are part of a bigger picture. We put our heads down and we get the work done because that's what we do. But I think what we've lost in the busyness of this time is that feeling of spirit and connection. We're all quite literally on survival mode. And it's when, though, that we work together that we not only get more work done, we create those connections that we crave. When we were trying to build the Lincoln County Youth Center, we struggled to get anyone to believe in our dream. But our dream started to become a reality when we opened it up to people outside of our organization. Our building became not just a potential youth center, but it was a church twice a week and a dance studio every Thursday and a corporate classroom once a month. Other people had dreams too, and we had the resources to help. And then they told our story, and the donations started coming in, and we formed partnerships. And after that, the granting agencies started to notice. Our dream came true because we were able to barter resources to help others. During the COVID isolation order, I led a team that did relief efforts. The thing I heard time and again was, I want to help, I just don't know how. Our communities were crying out for leaders to give us direction. So when we first started, it was just about making face masks, but then word got out about what we were doing, and then assisted living centers called and asked for isolation gowns. And those were great, but those projects only worked for people that knew how to sew. And people kept reaching out saying, I want to help, but I don't sew. So I'd asked what they could do. Well, they could bake and they could shop and they could write letters. So I did cookie drives, and we delivered thousands of cookies to frontline and essential workers. And other people dropped off fabric or supplies they'd purchased on our behalf. And we started a letter writing campaign for local nursing homes. For a group of people who thought we'd just make a few masks, we were able to serve hundreds, maybe even thousands of people and dozens of businesses, not just a few, because we opened up our project to everyone with a desire to help and found ways to just make it work. We served more people, and 2 years later, our work still has a lasting impact. Sometimes the biggest barrier to meeting our goals isn't external, it's internal. We got to get out of our own way. It's that feeling like we have to focus on our organization and our goals to the exclusion of others. But what I've learned is that we must think bigger and look for potential connections that enrich our work and our livelihoods. We prove every day that a rising tide sails all ships. So when we can find partnerships that allow others to grow and thrive, the work comes back to us in new and innovative ways. The need for our work is going to continue to grow. In nearly every sector, private businesses and government agencies have had to scale back their work, making the need for us even greater. Our work is good for the economy. But here's the deal. Humans were never designed to work truly alone. And certainly not in this country. Our Constitution says we the people, not I the individual. So when times are hard, it's really difficult to remember that we are a nation of people designed to work together, to live and thrive in community. Idaho Senator Michelle Stennett said this at a conference just a few weeks ago. Anger and fear can only be subverted by empathy and kindness. That is the work we do in the nonprofit sector. In a world where anger and fear seems to prevail, we come through with compassion, vision, and determination. That's the difference we make. When we can see building blocks instead of barriers, we can create the communities we truly want to live in. It's just like those lessons I learned from my mom. When we get outside ourselves and serve, that's when we make the difference, because it's in service where we save not only ourselves, but the world we live in. Best wishes to everyone honored here tonight. Thank you so much for your time.
And thank you, Karma, for sharing. We are so grateful for your passion and service. Now for our next category. These next three individuals have demonstrated exceptional leadership in philanthropic efforts and projects benefiting charitable organizations. The Southwest Idaho Award is sponsored by Bloomerang. Bloomerang is a complete donor management solution that helps thousands of nonprofits deliver a better giving experience and create stable, thriving organizations. They empower nonprofits to work efficiently, improve their donor relationships, and grow their donor bases with Bloomerang. It's like having another teammate joining the cause. Here are the winners of Outstanding Adult Philanthropist.
I actually moved to northern Idaho from a big city in another state about 30 years ago. And when I arrived, I noticed such a drastic difference in how people genuinely cared about each other. And I started volunteering as soon as I moved to North Idaho. So I volunteered in many different capacities, from helping out our local all-volunteer fire department in Hauser Lake, Idaho, to delivering Meals on Wheels, and many other things. And that kind of led me to where I am today.
Michelle is an awesome philanthropist because she gives from the heart. And that's really what philanthropy is. Whether it be supporting Girl Scouts of Eastern Washington and Northern Idaho, or giving to a brain cancer society, she is always looking for a place that she can cause the most healing and make a most difference for mostly children. She is a huge philanthropist for childhood causes, but she's always out there looking to make other people's hearts heal, bigger, stronger, faster. It's because Michelle has a huge heart for humanity.
My life and my husband's life too. He's a big time volunteer as well. And it's very fulfilling just to know that you're making a difference. I found so much happiness in it. There's a lot of happiness out there for others who wish to volunteer and just, genuinely help where help is needed within our communities. Together, we can make some really powerful, positive change for the good.
Michelle Young lives up to the famous Mother Teresa quote, "Don't worry about the numbers. Just help those around you and start with the person closest to you." That's Michelle Young.
I've always had a philosophy that you never miss an opportunity to be kind. And I see this as just an extension of that kindness. So if you can develop that in yourself, it becomes a lifestyle.
Even though she wouldn't say she's creating a legacy, she's creating a legacy just by sharing the skills that she has and the passion that she has for organizations in our community. when you get involved in the organization looks for your time, your talent, and your treasure. And Linda very freely gives all three. And I think that puts her on another level as a philanthropist. There's people who donate money. There are people that'll volunteer. There are people that have a talent that they can give or a skill, but they're not usually kind of the triple threat I like to think about. But she really is that true level of a philanthropist who has gone and gives of all three key pieces of what it takes to be a philanthropist: time, talent, and treasure.
I just want the good works to keep going. So it's not really about me. So a legacy of my own is not important, but to know that I contributed to something that is going to continue to be of value is reward enough. There isn't anything too small. Every little bit helps. And so there's no reason to hold back and wait for a magic day to start. Start now.
Larry has worked with Make-A-Wish for the past 20 years, and he was the one who started Polar Bear here at Make-A-Wish. He's not only been committed to Make-A-Wish Idaho, but he has supported so many nonprofits throughout the Treasure Valley.
Larry was a true and genuine advocate of all things nonprofit. We all thought that our nonprofit was his favorite, but we all knew it really wasn't. All of them were his favorite.
What made Larry a great philanthropist was just his complete and unbridled passion and enthusiasm for all nonprofits in the Treasure Valley. I loved watching him in the morning when he would be talking about different nonprofits and getting people excited about their work and helping. I don't even know how much money Larry is responsible for raising to support nonprofits across the Treasure Valley.
He just knew how big his platform was. And that's how he wanted to use it. He wanted to use it to promote so many events that gave life and long life to many nonprofits and kept so many people in this community just housed and fed and wishes granted and supported at times when they needed the most.
He was really known in more recent years for his Where's Larry segments. And I really do believe that Where's Larry can continue to live on in our area, as long as all of us continue to support, advocate for, and promote nonprofits and the causes and the people who benefit from those causes. And I think they can really do Larry proud.
I just would like to say thank you to his family, his children and his beautiful wife and also his KTVB family. Over the years, they shared him with all of us. And I think that's pretty special. Larry did a lot of amazing things, but he did it with support.
Yeah, on a personal note, it really makes me happy to see Larry be honored this way. For those of you who don't know, Larry passed away in April, but he really leaves a legacy of philanthropy and charitable work in our community. I know that his wife and family are watching tonight, and congratulations to them too, because huge support network there at home for him. Congratulations to all of the honorees in this category tonight. And now we're going to go live to Idaho Falls with honoree Linda Montgomery. Linda, welcome. Congratulations. What does this mean to you to be honored this way?
Oh, I have to tell you that I am so humble and thrilled and just proud to represent the entire community that supports the Museum of Idaho, whether it's the board, the staff, the volunteers, the sponsors, or the donors. It takes all of us.
What inspires you to participate in the community?
My parents taught me that even little things make a difference and that you should never miss out on an opportunity to do something that benefits somebody else. But what I found over time is that it was thrilling to me because I know I'm making a difference in where I live and what's important to me.
And you are making a big difference, Linda. Thank you for everything that you are doing, and congratulations on your award this evening.
Thank you.
You know, not only are we celebrating treasure shared, but also time and talent. These next few individuals have demonstrated exceptional leadership through a significant amount of service and volunteerism in their communities. Here are the winners of the Brightest Stars Outstanding Adult Volunteers.
Dolores is a volunteer with a big servant's heart. Dolores has voluntarily served in the Senior Companions Program of the Panhandle Health District for 25 years. She has ministered to scores of seniors in need, has provided more than 23,000 hours, and drove 46,875 miles in service to her community. Dolores has said, "I love the people I care for." You become part of their lives, and they become part of yours too.
The article that I previously sent to Betsy and Ian really says it all, a servant's heart. What set Dolores apart from her other volunteers was really her extraordinary self-sacrifice. I always found Dolores to be such a humble person with a willingness to serve, and having done this since age 64 is when she started, and she retired at age 89 after 25 years of serving as a senior companion volunteer. I think of character, I think of integrity, I think of humility, I think of service, I think of, oh my word, there's so much I could say about Dolores and the impact that she's had in our community, and really our loss at her retirement. But she earned it. She earned her retirement, I assure you. She's worthy and merits this kind of recognition as one of the brightest stars, if not the brightest star, at least in North Idaho.
I am just so flabbergasted to be here right now. I mean, I'm not inventing a cure for cancer. I'm not gathering food for people. I'm just there to help people at the museum, to help them to learn more about the exhibit that they're enjoying, give them tidbits and background information. I volunteered at the local college, and I was working with non-reading adults or people that had just been pushed through the school system. They want to learn and they need help, and they're so pleased to have someone help them. And it's just an outstanding opportunity to be able to be there to help. I'm volunteering at the schools. I've done that a lot, volunteering in community projects like Idaho Centennial, Idaho Fall Centennial, working on the school board, doing a lot of volunteer work at my church. There's always a place. You're always needed. Don't hesitate. I think I've always been able to volunteer or contribute or give time. I didn't exactly come from a wealthy family, so we didn't have a lot of money, but we did have ourselves, and we could volunteer and help. Volunteering is something that grows as you do it. The more you do, the more you're able to do. It's like helping someone. The way to be a good helper is to place yourself in the position of the person you're helping and try to stay ahead of them and do what you would like to be done, only you do it for them. Someone seeing you volunteering and enjoying it, and it encourages them to also volunteer. There's always a place to volunteer. We're always needed someplace.
There's people that say they want to help, and there's people that help and do it and get it done. And Mari is one of those people that shows up time and time again, gives of so much of her life and her heart, and just her desire to help improve the community that she lives in, that she loves. And it is such a privilege to know Mari because she has made a difference. She's one of those silent giants that is just moving mountains, removing barriers, making our community a better place because she loves it, because she knows what we can become, and she knows that when we link arms and we just dig in together, that will make our community even better than it is.
Being a part of the community and contributing to community is so important to me. And it's something that my parents always instilled in us. And it wasn't something they told us to do. It is just something that they did. And I truly believe that everybody has something to give. Every single person has something to give. You don't necessarily have to give money. And you don't necessarily have to give time. It depends on you, right? And what your bandwidth is. But everybody has something in some way they can contribute. Because when you impact a person, even in the smallest ways, it's huge. I'm very passionate about doing whatever I can in our community. So I rarely say no to things that come up, right? And then if there's a need somewhere, I want to help do something to fill that need.
Mari is truly a shining star within Nampa and really for the whole state of Idaho.
Well, at this time, we thought we were going to go live to Nampa to catch up with honoree Mari Ramos, but instead tonight we're going international. She is in Puerto Vallarta joining us electronically this evening. And Mari, first of all, I have to say, I'm glad that you never learned to say no when it comes to helping out in the community. Where does that drive come from?
You know, it does really come from my parents and just seeing and loving the community that I'm in, right? When you love your community, you're going to do everything you can to make it the best place for everybody else to also enjoy and to also love to live in.
Let's talk about that a little bit, though. What is it about the community that you love so much?
You know, we all need a support system. Right? We all need a support system. We all need people around us, people that we can lean on, people that'll lift us up. And if I can do that for one person, it makes all the difference. So we need that community. We are all here to do our best in this world, to make a difference in this world, to give a little bit of ourselves. And that is going to make all the difference in our world, in our community, is everybody putting our little bit.
And you know, Mari, I do also want to point out that a trip to Puerto Vallarta was not part of your award this evening, so the other honorees don't have to think that they missed out on something.
No, you know, I was finally forced to take a vacation, so.
Good for you. It sounds like you needed some time off.
I did, and I'm very grateful to be here. But yes, I am even more grateful to the Idaho Nonprofit Center and everybody who put this together, because I do believe that honoring people who do good creates more good. So it's not about me, it's not about others, but it is about motivating other people to keep inspiring everybody to do our very best in this world.
Well, enjoy your time off, your vacation, and then rush back here and keep doing those good things you're doing in the community. Congratulations to you.
Will do. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And congratulations to the other honorees as well. All right. Now, let's take some time to honor some of the state's youngest citizens. Community involvement and volunteerism starts at a young age in Idaho. These individuals have demonstrated exceptional leadership in philanthropic efforts, including volunteerism or projects benefiting charitable organizations. The Southwest Idaho Award is sponsored by IWCF. That's the Idaho Women's Charitable Foundation. It's a member-giving collective with the mission to positively impact the community. They foster philanthropy through collaboration, pooled resources, and individual giving. Since its founding in 2001, IWCF's 400-plus members have contributed more than $5 million to organizations in Southwest Idaho. And you can learn how to join and make a meaningful impact at iwcfboise.org. That's again, iwcfboise.org if you're interested. Well, here are the winners of Outstanding Youth Philanthropist.
Growing up in like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, I did like math competitions called Math is Cool. And it was like one of my favorite things because I'm super competitive. And I was also like just really present in like the math classrooms at my school. And around like 4th grade, I was just thinking, because I had a lot of friends who struggled with math, and sometimes I would, help them out. And I realized that they often like got it more when I taught them versus a teacher, because teachers teach it almost how they're taught to teach, whereas like kids teach other students in a way, in like the language that they would understand. So I was thinking of starting at my school just like a small, like a peer tutoring program, so that students of like similar ages can help other students with elementary age math.
Adelaide embodies the award for being just an outstanding youth who's giving back to her community, because she had a heart for struggling math students, and she has a love of reading. And so instead of just using those strengths for her own benefit, she found a way to take what was in her heart and make it into an action plan that benefited other people.
I really hope that growing the STEM can really bring some students towards STEM, towards art, and give them like more confidence about it later on, especially in our district where math is like a challenge for a lot of people I know, giving them a little bit more fun with it.
I've been so impressed with Adeline's dedication to serving our community with the STEM and the STEAM programs, because she's using so much of her free time that could be spent doing something different or more social or more fun, to really dedicate herself to this program that she believes in so strongly. For me, a youth who is willing to take what she loves and use it to serve other people is a huge gift to a community.
Find your passion, what like excites you, and finding a way that you can add that to your community and give other people opportunities. So I think that's great. Yeah.
Gold Award project was the period kind kits, and basically that was a project to, one, get out into my community and raise awareness, and also ask for the community's help in fighting against period poverty. It's important to talk about periods and to know that it's normal. It's not just a women's health issue, it's a public health issue, and we can all work together collectively to work towards menstrual equity.
Isabella earned her Gold Award with Girl Scouts, which is the highest award a girl can earn, and it involves an 80-hour Take Action project where they're making sustainable and measurable change in their community. So what she did was she helped to create a program that would provide relief to women in crisis, families, and students in her community. She wanted to show people that she cares and that other people are willing to help them. And she did that by collaborating with community partners to establish a collection program for period materials. And then with that, created these kind kits that had, menstrual products, but also had information on like pay equality and how to vote and how to get registered to vote. Like, it was a full, encompass program for these women.
Isabella is very determined. She's very thoughtful. She has a huge heart that she wants to make change. And whatever that change is, but I know that she's going to go and do that. And I know that she's going to involve the people around her and make them feel important and let them know that they are able to make a difference, whatever that is, whatever their personal goals are. She likes to include and bring people through that process. Just to describe her, she's just amazing. She's my daughter. I love her dearly.
Handy Hands Reflections creates and donates memory albums for people who have lost their lives and their families who are grieving. It helps with the grieving process. It's more of the acceptance part of it. And since I was 4 or 5, I've been in that shop. I'm always their gopher. My grandmother has a really bad back and a really bad hip. And so being her legs and her back, I run around everywhere. She does crops where women just come in, sit down and scrapbook, and in doing that they need help bringing in their things, and my brother and I always do that, and just doing that's always so much fun. I'm always there, go for this, go for that. The Handy Hands Reflections, they did all for the soldiers who lost their lives in Afghanistan. And the ones who were from Idaho, they distributed those out to the families. And it's supposed to, they put the pictures in, the families put the pictures in on scrapbook pages created for the people who have lost their lives. So if they liked fishing, hiking, they would build a hiking page, a fishing page. Anything they loved to do with their family, they would make. They made one for the weatherman, the former weatherman of Channel 7, who had passed away. They made one for his family, and they made one for Channel 7, so they could always have one in the office to remember him. Helping people and making people happy. I love working with the people I work with. They always love doing the volunteer work as well. Doing some things for the community just to help, like, my autism go, hey, I'm doing something for someone else other than myself. Makes me not feel selfish.
Well, now let's go live to talk with honoree Arabelle Kelsch. Hi, Belle. How are you?
Hi. I am really excited and a little bit overwhelmed with excitement about that.
Well, thank you, first of all, for the gift that you put together for KTVB because of Larry. We all appreciate that so much. I know his family does too. I want to ask you, though, what does this award, receiving this, mean to you with all the work that you've put in?
In receiving this award and all the work that I've put in myself, I feel like I'm doing something good, and not just doing something good, doing something great, doing something amazing, doing something that makes me feel like I'm accomplishing something.
And why do you feel it's so important to give back?
Everyone, just the way I was raised, the whole world right now is a lot of take. It's not a lot of give. And in giving, you can like receive more karma back. And in doing good karma to the people, you can get karma back.
Yeah, what comes around goes around, doesn't it? Well, thank you for your very wise perspective and for all the work that you've been doing. And I hope you keep doing it because you are making a difference. Thank you, Belle.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations to you and the other honorees. All right, we've come to the big moment, the announcement of the Governor Cecil D. Andrus Volunteer of the Year Award for 2022. It's an honor right now to introduce Danielle Trujillo, Executive Director of the Andrus Center for Public Policy.
Good afternoon. My name is Danielle Trujillo, and I am the Executive Director at the Andrus Center for Public Policy at Boise State University in the School of Public Service. As a longtime advocate for service and volunteerism, Governor Andrus established Serve Idaho, the Governor's Commission on Service and Volunteerism, in 1995. In honor of his legacy to service and volunteerism, it is my honor to announce the Governor Cecil D. Andrus Volunteer of the Year Award this afternoon. The Volunteer of the Year Award is given to the nominees that exemplify what it means to serve others, and like Governor Andrus, believes that service isn't just something that is a part of their life, it is their identity. This year's winner was selected from more than 130 nominations that were submitted from across the state. And the winner of this year's award spent his life dedicated to uplifting nonprofits and volunteers across Southern Idaho. He spent over 30 years working tirelessly to fundraise for nonprofits and to promote their events. It was said that during his tenure at KTVB, he used his platform to raise funds for more than 85 organizations across the Treasure Valley. One of those organizations that was close to his heart was Make-A-Wish Idaho. Thanks to his dedication to the cause and in helping to promote the event, the Great Polar Bear Challenge grew from just 25 participants the first year to more than 7,000 participants 19 years later, and raising more than $750,000 to grant over 120 life-saving wishes. According to one of his nominators, Larry was a one-of-a-kind voice and an advocate for local nonprofits. He truly leaves a huge unfillable void. He had a special gift, but also a passion for nonprofits. He had a larger-than-life presence and a huge heart for everything nonprofit. There will never be anyone like Larry Gebert in the local nonprofit sphere, and he will be missed greatly for years to come. The nonprofit community is forever grateful to Larry and his wife, Julie, for the exceptional service in our community. Now, it is my honor to recognize Larry Gebert as the 2002 Governor Cecil D. Andrus Volunteer of the Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. And I worked with Larry for 15 years on the morning show, and Danielle nailed it. She summed it up exactly what Larry's thoughts are for the community and his dedication to it. I know that he would be very proud to have received this award, but also very humbled and also motivated to keep doing what he had been doing. And I'm pretty sure that I know his wife pretty well, Julie, and I think right now she's probably at home smiling, laughing, crying, cheering, a whole bunch of emotions wrapped up in one, because she was such a big part of everything Larry did too. But thank you, Larry, for everything you did. We certainly miss you, big guy. At this time, we want to say a big thank you to Serve Idaho and the Andrus Center for your continued support in recognizing volunteers. Congratulations again to all the winners today. You are the reason why Idaho is such a beautiful state and such a joy to live in. I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors one last time. I'm going to put them on the screen for you here. Thank you for supporting philanthropy and volunteerism in our communities. Thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to seeing what comes next from the very generous people in every corner of Idaho. Good night and goodbye.